Now, with thanks to AIB, we've got Mayo GAA star Stephen Coen here with us in the studio. It's ahead of the AIB Future Sparks Festival 2020. It's taking place at the RDS in Dublin on March the 26th. The AIB Future Sparks Festival is an innovative careers festival for senior cycle students in secondary level, and it is designed to inspire students for their future career choices as well. Stephen, how are things?
Good one, yourself.
You've got a break this week, I suppose, from the National Football League. Is it maybe welcome after last weekend? And it's never easy to lose out by a point.
No, never, I suppose, and the good thing about that is with 2 weeks off, it gives you more of a chance to work hard and kind of focus on training, and things you maybe fell back on in the last few games you can kind of improve. So we've done nothing but work hard since, and I suppose get ready for Galway now in 10 days' time. Really,
you couldn't have a better fixture to try and focus the minds after the break, taking on your rivals who, in fairness to them under Pádraig Joyce, have started remarkably well.
Yeah, they're going really, really well and setting the standard, and fair play to them. Pádraig's obviously bring something new to them. But look, any Mayo Galway game, there's no lack of motivation there. Great rivalry, and whether it's FPD or National League or Championship, it's always going to be a nail-biting one. So really looking forward to it now, and hopefully we can get a good performance.
Look, it's not unheard of since you've come onto the senior team that you're scrapping in Division 1, but every year Mayo seem to find an answer. 20 odd years now you've been in Division 1 of the National Football League. That's the priority for the next few weeks, is to make sure you stay up.
Absolutely, and not intentionally do we put ourselves in these positions. It's just the way it's fell this year. But look, just our backs are to the wall now, and we've got to fight really hard. And I suppose all we can do is focus on getting more of a consistent performance. The last few games we've been up and down in mid-game, some really good patches and then some poorer ones. So if we can focus on getting a good 70 minutes into us, hopefully we'll get 2 points the next day.
I suppose the last day was a marked improvement, though, compared to the performance up in Monaghan the week before.
Yeah, you could say that. First half was obviously quite poor against Kerry, but then second half we played well. So as I said before, it's just trying to limit our mistakes. I think we're fueling other teams' kind of purple patches by giving away the ball too easy. So hopefully we can just focus on getting a better performance, and hopefully right to about 60 minutes and try and quell teams when they're doing well.
Has it been difficult the last few weeks, just as a player, given the amount of storms we've had? For some reason, the storms seem to have waited for the weekend, and we've talked more about wind advantage, I think, over the last couple of weeks, and games being called off and games played in difficult conditions, and even for the Kerry game, you had to switch to a Sunday as opposed to playing the Saturday. Has it been disruptive as a player, what's happened over the last few weeks?
Look, I suppose in fairness, it's out of people's control. I think anyone that's playing inter-county level at a while now, they realise that National League time can be always mucky ground and tough pitches and tough weather. It's been challenging, even for training conditions and stuff. A lot of teams are trying to get pitches that are available and kind of replicate what it's like on a game day. But I suppose you just have to take it into account, different conditions and stuff. But look, it's part and parcel of the game at this stage.
I was chatting to David Brady last Friday, and I asked him about the Tim O'Leary situation and whether it would have any impact on the pitch, because on the Mayo News podcast, your manager John was pretty clear about the fact that he said, look, I'm a manager, I've got a thick skin, this is almost water off a duck's back. As players, were the last couple of weeks and everything that happened on Twitter and then the foundation pulling out, did it have any effect on you at all?
To be honest, no, I don't think so. It's not something we really focus on. Really all we can do is focus on the controllables. And I think, look, we're all way too busy to focus on things like that, external issues like that. To be honest, I don't have much of an opinion or thoughts on it. As I said, I'm busy enough with my own stuff, and I'm up in Dublin here, so I don't even hear the local noise about it. So, it's not really something we're focusing on, to be honest.
And in terms of James Thorne, I suppose the criticism he's taken, it's never easy for a manager to have to listen to all that, but I presume it's not even something that comes up in conversation in the group, is it?
No, I don't think James is too concerned about external opinions, to be honest, and we're all the same. It's whatever's in the group, we're a fairly tight-knit group, and they're the opinions that matter, really, and it's just trying to impress them every time and work together as a group and learn as a group and develop. So really, as I said, we haven't time to focus on anyone else's opinions.
Your own position on the field, you've moved around a little bit. Do you have a preferred position as to where you want to be?
I suppose for years now, I've been seen as someone who's kind of versatile and gets around half-back, cornerback, midfield. Challenging at times, just to get used to kind of adapting to those roles all the time. Works in my favour at times, and other times it doesn't, but favourite position maybe anywhere in the half-back line, really, I suppose.
Does it really matter all that much between, say, you could be deployed potentially as a defensive half-forward, a midfielder or a half-back? When you get lined out in those positions, does it really make that much of a difference to how you play?
No, I think it'll suit certain players if they're clever enough to play in those positions and stuff, but really, the way the game has gone now, a lot of it's to do with matchups, so there could be a certain player that suits you when you pick them up, or there could be a certain system that you want to play on the day because the team have certain strengths, so just have to be able to adapt to that. But it's good to be able to adapt in different positions just for the team to do better, you know.
What's the trick going to be to try and replicate the underage success in the teams that you were involved in? I remember you being on a really good Mayo minor team not that long ago, to try and convert that into that elusive All-Ireland senior title.
It's a good question. I suppose a lot of things, just the basics really very simple, and I think the higher the level you go, the more you just need to complete the basics. I have to say with our own senior group at the minute, honesty and integrity, attitude is brilliant. Very resilient bunch. Those teams are very similar at underage as well. We've great camaraderie and we back each other up all the way. Obviously performances aren't great at the minute, and that's why we need to be really resilient now and work hard. And I suppose the greatest challenge in sport is when things don't go well, is how you react. So we'll see that now over the next 2 weeks, hopefully.
And look, oftentimes it's about being ready for the summer. I'm sure if you guys were to eke out a couple of results in the last 2 rounds, stay up and move on to the summer, the league would be quickly forgotten about.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you know, whatever way things go, you just have to go with it anyway. So whatever way results go, you just have to focus on the next one. Obviously, the priority for us is to try and win the next 2 games. Even then, we're not guaranteed to stay up, but then it's all about the Connacht Championship and focusing on that. So first round is Leitrim, and that's really all you can focus on when it comes to Championship.
The joke on around last weekend was that sat-nav sales are probably going to go up if Mayo are relegated to Division 2. Such is the, I guess, affinity your supporters have for the team, such are the numbers that travel to games as well. It seems to be a remarkable bond between your team and your supporters.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I know all the lads and all their families go to every game. My family are brilliant, they go to every game. But they have a vested interest, they have someone who's involved. But so many Mayo supporters have no one that's directly involved with the team and still go every week, bring 3 or 4 kids with them, a couple go away, Kerry, Tyrone, it doesn't matter. And we've the utmost respect and we're so grateful for that support. It's a massive driving force for us, and it's something that we don't take for granted, and hopefully it'll continue no matter what happens.
Last summer, the first half particularly, with the way you played against Dublin, did you feel like you were finally going to get one over them on a big day that day?
I don't think, especially in the big games, you can never say anything is going to happen until the final whistle. Thought we played really well in the first 35 minutes, not well in the second 35. So, look, it really, you got to just take each minute as it comes, each play as it comes. We did for the first 35. They got a big patch and did well. So, something just we need to improve on, and kind of, as I said, like this year in the league, need to get a 70-minute performance if you're to beat anyone, you know.
That consistency is difficult to find, but did that feel, I suppose, maybe aside from the drawn All-Ireland final where many people felt Mayo could have won it, is that as close as you felt to Dublin maybe in those first 35 minutes? Because I guess aside from the 50 minutes where they blew you away early in the second half, it seemed you were very close to them that day.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams have done really well in the first 35 minutes against the bigger teams. As I said, you just got to keep going and keep going and keep going. And often now it's a squad game, so every team plays 6 subs, so in there in the last 20 minutes, and that's where the strength is. So something that we're trying to do, and along with a lot of other big teams, is just to maybe get 25, 26 genuine competitive players who can come on and make a difference at any stage. So that's the real challenge for any squad.
Is your belief that those 26, 27 players are in Mayo at the moment?
Absolutely, yeah. And I think this year has been a great year for us in terms of the league, in that we've got a lot of new players. Oisin Mullen, Ryan O'Donoghue, Pádraig O'Hora, Jordan Flynn, just to name just a few. There's another 7 or 8 guys with similar experience to them that haven't got exposure yet. And really, it's great for them. It's great exposure for us. They freshen up the place. Willingness to learn is brilliant. And this kind of challenge now that they've got, and we've all got, we'll learn from that, and hopefully it'll make us better as a group. So hopefully coming into the Championship we'll have a really strong squad.
How have you found the new rules, particularly around the offensive mark so far?
As a defender, challenging. Easier for forwards to get a score off. Now, in fairness, in a lot of the games, I don't know, the ones I played anyway, 2 or 3 marks is as much.
Has it had a huge impact? We haven't seen that many
not
claims.
As much as we feared. Obviously, it can be difficult if your man just gets a Romania and then he gets an easy mark, but often players don't like to be kicking from place balls anyway. So, you know, normally the free taker will put it over no problem. But don't think it's had the same effect as maybe we feared it would, you know.
The debate goes as well that maybe it might be the summer before we see some of the teams really try to exploit it and try something different. But I think aside from maybe collecting a mark just inside the 45, we're unlikely to see too many players not want to continue on and go towards goal if they collect it close to it.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that just comes down to how ruthless you are and how ambitious you are. So if the goal chance is on and you want to sniff it, you'll go for it. I suppose with the better conditions, better ground, players are going to be quicker, might be more of a gap between the defender and the forward, so they might see a lot more marks. But Yeah, it'll be exciting to see what happens and see how it goes.
I don't know how often you'd kick the ball directly back to your goalkeeper, but what do you think of this rule that it can't go back after a kick out to the keeper?
Yeah, it's going to be challenging. I mean, I suppose a lot of teams now are really obsessed with possession and percentage kick-outs won and stuff like that. So often when you receive the ball from the keeper, he's an extra man straight away. He causes an overlap. So going to be challenging. I don't know when it's coming in place, or is it going to come in for the championship?
For next season.
Okay, so we'll have a bit of time to think about it anyway.
Yeah, I just think as well, like for a lot of fly goalkeepers now, and really I wonder if it is actually taking away any kind of attacking intent, because Morgan will happily take the ball back from a kick out, or Graham Brodie with leash at the moment, and oftentimes they'll come out with the ball and effectively try and move it into forward positions. I don't know how often it was used to try and slow the game down by passing it back.
No, I think most goalkeepers now are really good on the ball and are nearly like a 15th man on the pitch, and you need them now because teams are really set up for kickouts, press really high, so having that extra player actually makes it easier to get out and get an attack. So look, I can see the intent or the reasoning behind bringing it into play, but we'll just have to see how it goes. How
do you feel about how many rule changes there are made? Because I know the hurling fraternity were all arguing ahead of Congress last week. Don't touch hurling. This game's as good as it's been. We don't want to be like football, and we don't want to see changes for the sake of changes at the moment. You've had quite a few changes in Gaelic football over the last couple of years now. Yeah, it's challenging in that maybe, you're just adapting to one style of play or one set of rules, and kind of your system can change due to the way the rules are changed, but then it can be changed again. So kind of that uncertainty all the time of new rules can cause a bit of trouble, but to be honest, you just get on with it. Mostly just play with it and see what happens, You mentioned that you've been up in Dublin and living in Dublin now for a while, studying in Dublin as well. What's the education? Where are you at the moment now? So I did a 4-year undergrad in animal science in UCD. Student, so. Yeah, Van Wilder. So now I'm doing a 4-year PhD in animal reproduction and nutrition. So I'm based in Teagasc in Grange in County Meath. We had the Royals there on Wednesday, so that was exciting. Did you get to meet them?
No, I was actually out on farm, so I didn't get to see them, but by all accounts it was a good day. So I'm affiliated with UCD, and Teagasc hosts my PhD, so 2 years of that done in June and another 2 years left. Hopefully get it done a bit sooner, but really enjoying it. Is it maybe the type of education path that helps from playing Gaelic football as well? I'm presuming it makes it a bit easier during the summer? No, I'm full way through. Flat out? Yeah, 9 to 5 all year round. Some of the students will say I don't make it in 9 to 5 every day. But my decision wasn't based on sport. Okay. My decision was if I wanted to go into academia, maybe lecturing, or if I wanted to do research, I needed to have the degree. And I think a lot of players now are looking to excel in their academic career as well as their sporting career, because there's going to be a stage where you retire. People forget about you as a sporting person, and you need to make sure that you're getting the same buzz in your professional career. So I think really now that's come to the fore. A big reason why I did it was just to make sure that I'm fully set up for when I'm finished. So that was my main motive, I suppose. I know John Heston has done something very similar. He's plugging away at Westmeath at the moment as well, and says he enjoyed his studies, allowed him to play Sigerson ball for an extra couple of years as well. Has a great passion for farming, John. Do you share something like that with him? Yeah, so I come from an agricultural background. We have a farm at home in the west, a small farm, but my father works for Board BA, my brother works for Sheep Ireland, ICBF, so very much involved in the agri-food industry. The decision to go to college was always based around agri-food, veterinary, that sort of role. So I've never had any other interest really, so it's a great thing to have in the background. I know you're saying lots of options open, potentially going into academia afterwards. Do you ever think about going back and working on the family farm, or is that a possibility? To be honest, it's a suckler and sheep farm, so the way the industry is at the minute, it wouldn't cater for a kind of a salary for anyone to survive on. Okay. So basically, we all work off farm, my father, my brother and I. It's just a hobby, we enjoy it, and that's kind of a nice breakaway. In terms of the Sigerson, I'm sure lots of the kids who are going along to the fair and the RDS will be thinking about their options at third level as well. You got to play Sigerson ball with UCD quite successfully as well? Yeah, 5 brilliant years with UCD. Met a lot of really good friends from all over the country, playing against them all now at inter-county level. Wasn't the main driver for me going to UCD, but one of the fondest memories I have is of Sigerson football. We won 2 Sigersons in my time there. Really enjoyed it, and couldn't speak highly enough of it. A clip that we have on offtheball.com at the moment, a training session that took place in Kerry, which I just want to play a bit of a clip for. It's been doing the rounds, I think, on social media earlier today as well. Let's see if this is what a Mayo training session might be like.
The cunt up! Don't leave him up! Don't leave him up! That's it! Don't leave him up! Get down again! Come on, Sean Larry, get down again! That's it, James Eagle! Don't leave that cunt up! Don't leave that bastard up! Get him down! Stick his head in the fucking ground! Stick his head in the fucking ground, the cunt! That's it! Stick the cunt! Stick the fucker! Change!
Now, Stephen, I don't know if that's too dissimilar to the All-Ireland final a few years ago against Dublin, where you players dragging you down towards the end of the game and holding you down.
Yeah.
Is that preparation for those kind of trench battles?
Possibly a bit of cuteness, but yeah, definitely the conditions are similar to what it's like in Mayo at the minute. Pitch is really in bad shape. Yeah, I've seen them little drills before. It's a bit of fun. It's kind of to get lads warmed up and just, I suppose, work on upper body a small bit, but yeah, interesting clip to say the least.
Now, the thing is, I'd shoot whoever made the WhatsApp video. It'd be my first instinct on this. But I suppose some people kind of been shocked by the language and maybe what's been shouted at the players there. But probably that happens at training sessions, doesn't it?
Probably does. Not to say that it's right or the language is right, but yeah, around the country that happens, I suppose, a good bit. But yeah, I wouldn't be an advocate of it or anything.
And I guess, look, in fairness, training sessions like that take place where guys have, physical battles and so on, and it hardies up the body. I presume that's part of just team building as well.
Yeah, and I think those kind of little jewels and stuff, players get respect for each other and stuff out of that. But you look at every manager's own method of their madness. So yeah, a challenging one for them, right?
In terms of training, Jarlath Burns didn't get the presidency in the end, but he was talking about potentially cutting down the amount of sessions that an inter-county player would do each week. I think he wanted it down to 3 nights a week. What did you think about that idea as a player?
Well, I suppose ourselves, we train 3 nights a week between a Sunday, a Tuesday and a Friday, and then you have your gym sessions around that. Look, I think pitch sessions are important, and especially with games and stuff. I suppose the more games we have, the less training we have. So during the National League, you might have 1 session of the week. But look, I don't think anyone has any complaints about going out into the pitch and going training. Maybe there's gym sessions you have to do. There might be 2 or 3 of them in the week. But normally we meet up together and usually see each other lots. So don't really think it's too much of an issue at the minute, to be honest.
My instinct when he did that interviewing off the ball as well was it would be impossible to police unless someone was actually reporting on another county team.
Absolutely, and different counties have their own way of going about it and have their own priorities. Some teams want to do really well in the league and get promoted, so that means that they start earlier in the year, which sounds crazy, but I suppose that's their agenda. Other teams want to peak later in the year, so they might start later. So very hard to police, and yeah, as you said, it's just not really easy to regulate. Well,
Stephen, try and enjoy this fallow weekend as much as you possibly can before you get back to action against your great rivals Galway. All the best with trying to stay up in Division 1, the Football League as well.
Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Stephen was talking to us, of course, with thanks to the AIB Future Sparks Festival 2020. It will take place at Dublin's RDS. It's coming up on March the 26th. And the AIB Future Sparks Festival is an innovative careers festival for senior cycle students that is designed to inspire students for their future career choices.